Las Vegas. Thank you for joining us again on Realty Check, your local Las Vegas real estate news show where you hear about real estate from the professionals that are out there working in the field every day. If you guys are watching the show, if you're liking our show, please take a moment to like, comment, share it with your friends. Whatever portal that you're watching or streaming it on, we would appreciate your feedback. And if you could leave us a review, that would be amazing. This week, we have some amazing people, as always, on our show, starting with Amanda Bedell with Bedell Realty Group. Amanda, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've been in the business for over 4 years now, and military spouse. So we moved here about 6 years ago. So I've been with Keller Williams, Marketplace One, from the beginning. So.
Yeah. And you're doing amazing.
Yeah, it's been a great journey.
Yeah, you hit the ground running, got started off doing really amazing. You said one of the top agents in the office.
Yeah, top 20%, yes.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. And Tarra Rainey, Keller Williams, Marketplace One. Tarra Rainey is not only a realtor, but she's a productivity coach. She is one of the people that the person that helps train new agents or agents that just need that extra push. So Tarra, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Well, I've been in the business for almost 5 years now, and I've been with Keller Williams the whole time. I was running a team and now have moved into productivity coaching. So that is my job now full time. Just basically getting agents of every level into a better area of production, whether that's narrowed down lead gen or different activities, and really working on their goals and getting them to where they want to be.
That's awesome and so necessary, because once you finish real estate school, you get your license, and it's not only new agents. There's some people that have just been in it for years and never really learned the necessary actions that you need to take on a daily basis to make your business successful. So very important, very good job. And I know I've been seeing that your productivity clients, the people that are in your group, are doing amazing. So very proud of that. You should be very proud of that as well. So great, good job. I'm glad to have you here today. So we're going to get started in talking about what's happening in real estate. Over the last few weeks, it seems like we've just been hovering around these numbers. They have not changed much. It just seems to stay consistent. Single family inventory, we have, as of this morning, single family homes in Las Vegas, 3262. And price decreases over the last 7 days were 552. So we have, over the last few weeks, I've been watching this number, and it's been hovering right around those numbers the whole time. So what do you guys think about that? Any concerns, or do you think we're just adjusting?
Well, I mean, it's normal for this time of year for it to slow down a bit. Since I've been in the business, it's been the norm. But I really do think that buyers, the ones that are out, they're serious, but they're not. They're starting to fight back a little bit, and they're not wanting to pay more than they have to. So they're starting to get a little more pushback, which is could be causing the price decreases.
Absolutely. They're starting to look at comps.
Right, less offers on properties. I haven't been going up against as many multiple offer situations. I just wrote an offer this week, and we were the only offer. So
that's awesome.
I definitely think there's something changing with, the market for sure.
And Amanda, you work with a lot of VA buyers, right?
Yeah.
VA clients. And so during the rest of this year, did you see a lot of struggles with that, with getting those VA offers accepted?
I mean, the veterans that I worked with, we were able to get them under contract. We were, there's other ways of being competitive than just offering over list price or, waiving appraisals.
Yes.
So we just found other ways to compete and to stand out. And, they were all able to, it took some time and
Yeah.
some patience, but they were able to get into something. So
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
great. Yeah, and that's one thing that I do like when I start to see the market soften a little bit as it is. You can have more of a chance of helping a family get into a home where when it's really a crazy market, that becomes a struggle.
Right.
Tarra, what do you think about what's going on in the market?
Well, I think similar to maybe your perspective too is there was definitely a concern for buyers where maybe many locals were getting almost squeezed out of that price range, and because we had so many relocations from other places that had the cash to go over market value, we kind of let that happen, I think, as agents. And so I think we kind of have to take some responsibility for taking listings with sellers that wanted unrealistic prices and then, fighting for our buyers to get into those properties. So we've gotten really strategic with the way we write offers as well, not going above appraised value, but maybe offering to cover some of the seller's costs in order to get our offer accepted, but not creating that, inflated market.
Right, and I do believe, and I've been saying this over the last few weeks as well, is that the price reductions are just people coming down to reality.
Right.
It's not, I don't think it's prices are dropping. I haven't seen any, it's still hard to find a single family home under 300,000. There's no such thing, or if there is, it's very, very minimal. So I don't see prices actually dropping, but I do see the price decreases in homes that have been overpriced.
Well, and I think it's also, having the right conversations with our clients and setting that expectation. If you set the expectation to a seller that, they can get whatever they want, then that's what they're going to want in the end. So I think a lot of it is, setting the expectation
Right.
as well.
And I still think if a home shows well, has great access, and is priced well, it's going to sell. It's going to sell. People are going to buy it. And
Right.
if one of those things aren't working, then you're definitely going to have to start adjusting because buyers are more picky. They're more picky
They're
now.
tired of, they're tired of the game right now. So
Right.
they're like, no, we're taking the game back. So
Yeah, and that's great. It is great to see. And again, 3262 in inventory, still a very strong seller's market. It's not, by all means, it's not a buyer's market. Anybody that says that is insane. We have to be over 6,000 in inventory to be even near a buyer's market. So we are still in a very, very strong seller's market.
Right.
So population growing in Las Vegas along with home prices. So you mentioned this just a few minutes ago, Tarra. Do you think this is pushing locals out of Vegas?
Yeah, 100%. It's pushing the locals who are, average income. We have people with money coming in and just buying up and offering more than what an average buyer can afford. Not just that, but first-time home buyers. Working with veterans, a lot of them are in the average price point. And now the average price point is a townhome or a condo. And so, and that can be tricky sometimes, getting them under contract with, a VA or, FHA. But I definitely think that these high-end buyers are pushing out the locals and first-time home buyers.
Right, and yeah, because with FHA and VA, the condo communities, they have to be approved for those loan programs, or else you can't purchase in there. So
Right.
that is tricky. A couple of years ago, they were saying that they were going to remove that, and that was going to be fixed. Never seen it happen. I see news articles about it, but never seen it happen.
Yeah.
So I guess they gave up on
They're
that.
going to have to figure it out now. Otherwise, they really have no choice unless prices come down soon. But
Right.
Well, and that's the situation, I think, that between, us as agents and sellers and then the market and all the relocations, we've kind of created this scenario where, affording a home used to be like a dream. It used to be possible. Now it is kind of just a dream that isn't possible anymore. Between rental market as well, the requirements to rent a home now in Vegas have become so strict that not only are you squeezed out of the price range of being able to afford something for your family, because maybe a condo doesn't work for most families.
Right.
That might be your price range, but then you're left to rent. And if you don't meet the rental requirements, what are you going to do?
I'm wondering that. That is something that it's been in my head a lot is, there's so many people that have been in these rentals and they haven't been paying rent, because of the moratorium. And they are now facing a time that they're going to have to leave. their credit is probably not great, and obviously their rental history is not great, and the rental requirements to get in a rental are so crazy right now. So you might as well buy a home, and the rent prices are so high, you could probably pay less for a mortgage. Like, that's not just a realtor spill there, that is the truth. Where are they gonna go? Are they gonna have to leave the city? I mean, are they, I just don't see any like instant solutions for them, because I've tried to help people, you know, even find rentals in this market. It's insane.
Well, and if they're not able to pay rent, how are they going to afford a mortgage? How are they going to even qualify for a mortgage to buy? So, you know, that's
where
still the unknown. And
yeah, I think we have an issue coming, you know,
For
that
sure.
in regards to that. So I'm wondering how that's going to play out. And on the good thing about that is it probably is going to turn a lot of renters into home buyers if they have if they have good credit, because that, you know, one thing, the moratorium doesn't really affect their credit instantly unless they haven't been paying any of their bills. So they could still have a decent credit score after all said and done, but they wouldn't be able to get a rental because of the eviction history. Yet I've known a few people who couldn't get a rental because of an eviction history and still were able to purchase because they still had the credit score.
Yeah.
So that might turn a lot of these renters into home buyers. It could happen if they're working and they're, you know, they're back to work and they have the
well, and on the other
income.
hand, you know, these homeowners who haven't received, you know, rent for so many months, you know, once this is over, they're going to want to sell their house because they, you know, they've been, you know, paying double mortgage for so many months. And, you know, so I think that that's going to affect the market. There's going to be more houses on the market, you know, so hopefully that will, you know, bring some prices down. So, you know, the average income.
Well, and I think we're starting to see that a little bit already. Not only are we seeing investors still taking properties, but we are seeing some people offload them. And I think that's why we have a little more inventory. But because we still have so much competition, we haven't really seen that shift. I mean, it's been a little bit with maybe a little less offers, but we're still seeing, you know, multiple offers on some properties. If they're priced right, they look great. They're, you know, accessible.
Right.
That kind of thing.
And even though the moratorium's lifting, I haven't seen any proof or facts on this yet, but I'm assuming that even if you did have a non-paying tenant in your home and you went to go evict them, I don't think they're going to get a court date for a year or two because of the amount, the volume.
Yeah.
So I really don't think that we're going to see that instantly. It's not going to just switch off, you know.
It's better just to try and work with them while, you know, if you can, you know,
Yeah.
work something out.
Yeah.
So, gosh,
get them back on track. So yeah, I do feel like that's going to, people that are going to have to go through that process, it's still going to take so long just to get on the calendar to get a court date.
Well, and I think even now, you know, with real estate agents, there's been, in my mind, some concern about us as agents and whether or not we might still be relevant in the next few years. You know, we have so many companies changing the name of the game, but I think this situation creates the perfect opportunity for anyone in that situation to reach out to a real estate agent and say, what are my options?
Yeah.
I think this is where, as agents and the personal relationships we've created and good business and being, you know, ethical and a really good agent, I think anytime somebody reaches out to us, we can help them with that situation and guide them to that next step. Counseling them through that.
And that's super important, especially with all of these big companies that are trying to, they're trying to make us irrelevant. And speaking of them, speaking of those companies out there, we won't say any names, but there was a viral video from a local real estate agent here in Las Vegas. It got a lot of traction. I'm sure you guys seen it or heard about it. That they were accusing big companies such as Zillow, we'll just say such as Zillow, not specifically, but I think that's who they were accusing specifically. But they're manipulating the market, buying up a bunch of homes in a market to be able to control the pricing and control basically the inventory in that market to make them the homes that they're selling, that they purchased and they're reselling, more profitable. Do you think there's truth to this, or do you think it's just happenstance?
I definitely think there's some truth to it. I definitely think that whoever has the most properties owns the market, right? So I definitely see from experience, you know, Zillow buying up a bunch of properties for rentals, you know, over, you know, the whole, you know, the country, not just here. And then, some of them, they are, selling it for higher prices. But I definitely think that it's kind of a war between who has the most inventory and, whoever has the most properties controls, rent prices and.
Yeah. And that's one thing that I see with them is not just Zillow, but like Open Door, all of these companies, when they buy the properties, they list them where, I mean, the comps aren't even relevant. You try to find comps on a lot of the homes that they have listed on the market. They do a little bit of flipping to them, but not much. And you look at their pricing of what they have it on the market for sale for, it's usually substantially higher than the comps. But they stand firm in it. I mean, they don't care about their days on the market. They'll just let it ride out and see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, which honestly, it doesn't look good on them in that sense. But, talking about Zillow, Open Door, OfferPad, they give a, at the time that they give the offer, it's, a fair offer. But what consumer or what the owners or the sellers don't realize is by the time they get to the end and they start going through everything that Open Door and Zillow's deducting,
right.
With repairs and cosmetic work and all of that, they're paying more than if they would have just hired
right.
a realtor. And I had I know of one specific owner who, would have made listing their house with an agent would have made $20,000 more, on top of, realtor fees, commissions and everything.
Right.
But they ended up making, less. And then a few months later, you see that house up for like 50,000 more than what they bought it for. And I'm like, but now I'm starting to, because the buyers are starting to, give some pushback and they don't want to pay, overpay for a house. They're having to start, making some price adjustments as well.
So I recently, with a client of mine, just, and they wanted to review over all of everything, what all everybody out there was going to offer them. So I did go through a lot of these people to look at their offers, and great thing was I got to see a lot of their contracts. They charge no commissions, okay, but they all have a 5% fee, or buyer's credit to buyer's closing cost, they call it, or whatever. 5% does not include your escrow fees, which is typically 1%. Okay, so you're already paying 6%. So sellers already paying 6%, that they don't call it commission. So I guess that makes the sellers feel good. I don't understand that. But 6% they're paying, plus they give you an offer and that's the thing that I guess just irritates me so much is we go in at our listing appointments and they're like, well, why would I go through, listing the home and marketing and everything when these people are going to make my life easy and just give me the money, give it cash. I don't have to go through showing the home, and they think it's going to save them money. They always make sure that they have a competitive upfront offer that will beat us out if we're at a listing appointment against them. So in this instance, just a scenario, in this instance, their competitive upfront offer was exactly what I had priced it at for comps. And I was a little irritated with that. And I'm like, I know they're not going to pay you that, but let's see how it goes. So we go through that. They do their, inspection, walkthrough, whatever. They come back, the offer's $20,000 less after they do everything than what their initial was. But at that point in time, again, in most cases, the seller's too far in to want to
because they can't back out at that point.
Yeah, so it's misleading, and it's like almost an attack on us as agents that are going in with realistic expectations, realistic prices, and it's really it's misleading, and they go in strictly with those high prices because they know that most sellers are going to be talking to agents and they want their price to look the same, but it doesn't end up that way, and that's irritating.
Right.
That's
and
what
we can
bothers
have that
me.
conversation. We can have that conversation with the sellers. But they most of them they still go with that higher offer. Yeah. At the end of the day, we want we want you to net as much as possible, but I've just seen so many, leave so much money on the table after it's all said and done.
Yeah. And what I think is good, a good thing for just people out there to understand, sellers out there to understand, an agent will, I mean, most of the time, I'm sure you guys would, I would, will review over those contracts with you and look over them before you sign anything, before you do anything, just to look for, and let you know what your expectations are. I feel like there's so many sellers out there that are scared to ask an agent to their opinion on it because they think that, they're going to try to talk them into doing something different, or they think this is what's right for them or whatnot. But I mean, I would, and I'm sure you guys would as well, be happy to meet with somebody. If they still went with that route because that's the best route for them, then by all means, I understand. No harm done. But I think that many people need that. They need the agent to, someone that is not representing that company to look over everything with them.
Right, 100%.
Well, and this is our job.
Yeah.
We write contracts, we negotiate, we review contracts. So at least use somebody who knows what they're looking for, what the verbiage means, what the lingo means, that can explain it to you in layman terms so you really understand what you're signing up for.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's important to any client.
Because Zillow, Open Door, they're not working for them. They're not working for the seller. They're working for their company. So they're
they're not going to tell you anything that's in your best interest.
Right. So in a sense, the seller is a for sale by owner. They they don't have anybody looking out for their best interest.
Right. And a lot of those companies charge a 1% cancellation fee if you don't follow through, which people don't realize until later, and that's costly. So it's it's definitely not good. And if they did do that and pushed realtors out of the market, got rid of us, it would be great for them. But in the end, the consumers would be the ones who were hurting from it.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
So doomsdayers are talking about market crashes and short sales and foreclosures and all of that great stuff that we seen a while ago. I personally don't think we're going to be seeing it again, but just because I'm hearing so much about it. I was on the phone with somebody last week and they said, can you send me a list of foreclosures and short sales? And I was like, I don't even think we have a list, like enough to substantiate anything. Yeah. So I ran a search, didn't put any price filters on it, didn't put any bedrooms, bathrooms, anything filters, just all in Las Vegas. How many short sales, how many foreclosures are on the market? There's 8 foreclosures and there's 13 short sales. So I do not see that as something that is a concern that we're heading into that market, not with those numbers. What do you guys think?
Well, I think it's more of a buyer's market, in this market where, they can sell their house for more than what they owe. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense to go through a foreclosure or short sale, and not only that, but the banks, buyers that are asking for a list of foreclosures, they don't, what they don't know is now banks know that even if they have foreclosures, they can still get full market value, if not more, for their house. So they're not saving anything by looking at foreclosures. If anything, it's more of a hassle because they're having to go through the process and, waiting 6 months or more to even get into the house, and it's probably stripped of all of the interior, the light fixtures and all of that. But I definitely don't think it's something that's valuable in this market.
Yeah. How many times have you got a call from a buyer that's like, I'm looking for a home for $100,000 and just send me foreclosures? I'm like, there's no such thing.
Yeah.
Not even foreclosures. There is no such thing. That's not a magic word. Right. It doesn't work that way. Tarra?
No, and it's funny because I've been fielding this question a lot, and I have so many people, that know I'm an agent, and they're like, well, what do you think? What do you think is going to happen? Is there going to be a crash? And I always tell them, look at the signs. Our city is still growing at such a rapid pace. Inspirada just hit phase 3. They're still building and on the strip. Casinos are still going up. Yeah. There's no way that they are stopping any construction on the strip. And that's who I kind of look to. If we're still growing and building and there's no stop to anything happening in this city, chances are there's not going to be a crash. And if there is, you might not have a job to purchase a home. So let's talk about that for a second. Are we really wanting a crash? Because that's really not good for anybody.
Right.
And after the last one, there were so many regulations and things put in place that we're not going to see a ton of foreclosures. We're not going to have the same instance that we had before. So I think those people are better off going through probate or like tenant occupied properties. If you want a deal and you're willing to wait a little bit, you're probably better off searching those than you are like foreclosure.
Absolutely. And that's another thing. The people that have been paying higher prices this year have been paying cash. I mean, cash above appraisal, cash above everything. They're not going to default. They're not, they're not. There's so much, we've seen so much cash put on the table. I mean, it's a few years ago, I was like, no buyers have cash to pay this or that or whatever. It's like all of a sudden they all got cash. I don't know where it came from, but they all got it.
Out of state.
California.
Thanks, California.
So speaking of that, Californians coming to Vegas has definitely boosted our luxury market a lot. So I thought this article was so interesting. And so there's 2 luxury communities, one in the Southwest and one in Henderson, that are being built right now. They're selling lots, they're reserving lots. Prices are about 2.3 to 4 million. But these homes have, they are planning on giving a Model 3 Tesla with every home purchase. So there you get your home and your car all in one shot.
That's a great closing gift.
Yeah, great closing gift. Oh my gosh, I can't beat that one.
No. Yeah.
Tesla powered homes, net zero positive energy communities, panoramic city views, and grading starts in October. Wow, what do you think of that?
I think it sounds exciting.
It does.
I have some concerns.
Yeah, definitely some concerns. It's definitely gonna, change the way the luxury market is marketing their homes.
It's like an Oprah show. Like you get a car, you get a car, you get a car.
It's like, well, are they bribing them? I mean, are their homes? I mean, it makes me wonder what do their homes look like? What are they, why do they feel they need to offer a car for someone to purchase their home?
Yeah.
For $2 to $4 million.
Yeah, is that $1 million car?
And
was that worked into the price?
And how much is that Tesla gonna cost them to recharge for 15 hours a day?
Well, they're all solar powered homes, so maybe there's not a cost for charging, but I don't know if they work that into some of the solar powered communities or leases where you still have payments. There's definitely a lot of questions. Grading starts in October. When they start the models, I definitely want to check them out.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what they're going to be looking like. So that's pretty awesome. But yeah, I also think you see the movies like I'm a 90s girl, so Edward Scissorhands, right? Where like every car, every house looked exactly the same and everybody left every day in the same car. That's what I'm envisioning in this community.
Essentially, probably.
Well, there definitely is a market for that. If you look at just Vegas in general, how much the solar has grown in the city. I mean, at least half the houses that I sell have solar. I mean, I have solar. I love solar. You drive out of the city and you just see all these solar plants and stuff. So there's definitely a market for it. And maybe that's the direction, it's heading.
Yeah. Yeah, a whole Tesla powered home. So I'm just wondering, is it just solar? Are they going to have some bells and whistles? I
definitely think it's going to, even if they have solar, it's definitely, to be on the grid, if they don't have the right amount of, solar panels, they're going to, pay for it in energy. Mm-hmm. But I definitely think it's going to be costly for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Thoughts, Tarra?
It's funny where my brain goes because I think about, okay, so we have all these like smart appliances and different things, and how often are they going to need repaired or serviced? And then the type of people purchasing these homes are a higher price point. They're luxury clients. And if the customer service on these, appliances or in this process isn't the same, is that going to create frustrations, from the sellers or the buyers, that are currently living in the homes? Is that going to be one more of those things where it seems like a great idea, but once you get in there and start working out the kinks?
Isn't that something though with all technology? I mean, even all these smart homes and everything, it's like, I'm starting to get this frustration with everything being too smart, everything being on Wi-Fi, your whole, your Ring doorbells, your cameras, your everything. And then the Wi-Fi goes out because Cox is can't get it together. I don't know. And then everything goes down. Your whole house shuts down because you have too many smart devices throughout the whole house. It's getting frustrating. It's getting to, I think we're getting to that or I feel like I'm personally getting to that point. Maybe everybody else hasn't got there yet, where I'm sick of everything being, I just want to go back to hardwired.
Yes.
So at least it's reliable. It's just, Facebook shut down the other day, right?
Yeah.
So that's
Instagram
just proof. At Facebook, Instagram, everything just stopped. Conspiracies behind it, yes, of course. But everything just stopped. And is that having everything on this internet grid, smart grid, everything, are we relying way too much on that? And if it stops, it shuts down, what's going to happen? Where are we going to be?
I think that all the time. I don't like putting my life and control into other people's hands.
In the cloud.
And so to me, and somebody else is controlling whether or not my computer's working, or if we're getting power to the house and whatnot. So.
Or your access to information or communication. If you can't call clients or your family and you're halfway across
We're becoming too dependent on that.
Yeah, the panic that sets in.
I still have all my manuals in binders. So I have paper copies. I have hard copies of everything. I'm no, just in case. Everything stored in the cloud does not make me feel safe.
Yes.
I
who can get in that cloud and have access to anything that.
Yeah, I got my credit card hacked the other day. I was $4,000 in charges in 2 hours. So luckily got it shut off, all reversed, no harm, no foul. But I was whoa, someone got there. I don't know. The card was in my hand, so I had it. I don't know how
they
it
work
happened.
fast.
I know. They went on a shopping spree on the internet. But yeah, it was it's just crazy. So yeah, I feel again with that, when I see all of these 100% smart homes, I'm maybe not such a great idea, but let's see how it works out.
I think there's a market for it. It's not for everybody, but some people will see value in it.
Yeah. I see myself retiring out in the woods somewhere with no internet.
Most of my buyers are not that excited when they walk into a smart home that we have now with all the smart features. Mm-hmm. That's not going to sell my buyers the home. It's more about location and everything else. Yeah. So they don't really care about that as it is.
Yeah, when you walk into some of these smart homes, you walk in and you're Alexa, pull the blinds, and the blinds all go up, and you're okay.
I think it's neat and it's appealing because 20, 30 years ago, these were things that we thought of as futuristic and they seemed very exciting. But it's now that we have it, it's is it too much control? Are we dependent too much on these technologies? And then what happens when they fail and it's really not as exciting as we thought it was? And to a buyer, or maybe even a homeowner, it might seem appealing, but I think it's more of a personal thing. If it's convenient for you and it works for you, when you can see your kids from afar, when you can control your temperature, things like that, that seems great. But when it comes to resale and the next buyer, that's not something that maybe everybody wants.
Yeah, for sure. It's certain people, certain people like certain things. That's what makes us all different. It makes us all awesome. And so it was great having you guys here today. So tell everybody, Amanda, how can people reach you if they want to talk to you about some more stuff, real estate?
Yeah, they can call or text my number, 702-704-4776, or send me an email at amandabedellrealty@gmail.com.
All right, awesome. And Tarra, how do people reach out to you? And if somebody's in real estate and they really just need to get whipped into shape, tell them what they need to do.
She's the girl for that.
Well, come see me. And the best way to reach me is really my phone number, 702-802-8316. I am in the office Monday through Friday. You can also send me an email, tarrarainey@gmail.com. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. See what I do with some of the other agents. Follow our activities, and I can almost guarantee you'll want to be a part of it.
And there is a Y at the end of your name. So if you're looking at that on the screen, we missed a Y. Sorry.
That's a Y.
Tarra Rainey, not Rain. You know how to reach me, Trish Williams, Trish Williams team, 702-308-2878. Keep on watching our show. Tell your friends about it. Share it. Download us. And we are across all portals. If you have anywhere where you can access podcasts, iTunes, Amazon, in your Tesla. So if you buy one of these luxury homes, you get in your car and say play Realty Check and it'll just start playing. So that's great. So we hope to see you guys next week, and thank you again for tuning in.